Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge, 5:36 a.m. Central Daylight Time, February 1st, the 2nd, 2020. We're already in February. I'll start right at 5:30, but I wasn't able to make it. All right. This label's coming off. I'm about to glue this down. All right, so we have Skol. Skol rich gold rum. It means cheers in like the Danish language. Virgin Islands rum. Well, Denmark used to own the Virgin Islands, so that's how they would say cheers. Okay. There's the label. This is the same bottle like the Northern Lights with the diamonds around the shoulder. That's a Sazerac design with the diamonds. There's a shield with a crown, 3 fleur-de-lis, which would represent, I guess, the House of Bourbon, the Bourbons. A castle, a rum barrel, 2 griffins. It probably has no real meaning. They just adopted it because it looked nice, you know what I mean? You will see Skol vodka everywhere in Louisiana at all the liquor stores. Skol rum, no, not too much. Imported. Well, if it's imported and it's Virgin Islands rum, then it really has to be from the British Virgin Islands, all right? Not the U.S. It has to be British, because if it was from the United States Virgin Islands, it wouldn't be imported because that's a U.S. territory and that's not imported. Like if I go to the Virgin Islands on a plane, I don't need a passport. Well, you might need one of those smart driver license, whatever they call them, smart IDs, but you could just get off the boat. And if you're a U.S. citizen, you don't need a passport. You're going from one, it'd be like going to Mississippi. Now, if I went to the British Virgin Islands, I would have to show the passport. All right, so that's on the market since 1956. Okay, Skol. Rich gold. It should be a gold cap, but it fell and broke, so I replaced it with a black cap. I do have a gold cap if I wanted to make it look right from another liquor, but it fell over in a truck and the cap cracked. This is a cream colored cap, and this is the rum Pontalba. Looks like a 1989 Ocean Pacific t-shirt, and they haven't changed the label since 1989. It just says imported from the Caribbean islands, bottled by Wide World Importers, Frankfort, Kentucky. That's Buffalo Trace. Wide World Importers. Now, it's not it doesn't have the diamonds on the shoulder. It just has a standard Sazerac bottle with the lip at the bottom. You'll see this for so many Sazerac brands, so many. They have about 4 or 5 different bottle designs, and they just use them across the brands, like Weller. You'll see that for many other Sazerac products that had nothing to do with that bourbon. Let's see here. Now the Blantons, no, I haven't seen that used anywhere else. Put some glue on this. Hold it down for a minute. I remember this label wasn't that secure when I first bought this bottle at what is it, Ricky's liquor store in Kenner, Louisiana Highway 49, or is it Rick's? I can't remember. I don't think that's his real name. It might be more like Khalid's or Ibrahim's, but whatever, you know. These might both be from the British Virgin Islands. You know, they might be from the same rum distillery. They're not the same though, because the rum Pontalba is very basic. You're going to find in this taste challenge, the rum Pontalba is like alcohol. It's just like rubbing alcohol in the flavor in a way. It has some molasses and all, but it is not made for this. Tasting it and swishing it around and all of that. Somebody was making a comment yesterday like, hey, Colt 45 malt liquor is not made for what y'all are doing, swishing it around and drinking it and tasting it. You're supposed to just get drunk off it, man. I just deleted the comment because, first of all, you're making a comment like that and you're assuming that you're being forced to watch it. You don't have to watch it. Just ignore it. If you don't want to watch people swish a malt liquor around and give tasting notes, then, don't look at it. I wouldn't. It's strange. People are strange. All right. Another thing about the Skol is very light. It's not daylight out there. Okay, so let's look at these two products. The Rum Pontalba is amber, gold. But look at this one. Look how light gold it is. It's as though they added no color into it. For instance, you put it in a charred oak barrel, which are used typically, old bourbon barrels often, and you let it rest in the barrel for a year, but add no color. And that's all you're going to get off of it. It's going to be very pale straw. This is straw, gold straw. A lot of rum companies feel like it's not gold enough. It won't attract the consumer, so they add the caramel color in. Like in this case, I'm sure they do because it doesn't taste like it's aged very long. I'm gonna have to close my eyes because the appearance will tip me off in a hot second. Like I said, I've never tried Skol rum, but Skol vodka, but every liquor outlet in Louisiana sells Skol vodka. Everybody. Everywhere you go, Walmart, Skol, Mathern, Skol, Winn-Dixie, Skol, Food for Less, Skol. I guess you can't really see their liquor back behind that customer service area, but every convenience store like Circle K, you got Skol of any kind of bottle size, glass and plastic. Have never tried it. I'm probably not missing much. I don't really care for vodka. It tastes like nothing to me, but really. Dobra, a lot of stores have Dobra, also from Sazerac, but I never tried either one. Now, if you go to the Sazerac house on the corner of Canal Street and Magazine Street, I guess the address is actually Magazine Street, but it's on the corner. You won't see either one of these rums featured. You can get a brochure of our products. Well, actually the brochure will say this is some of our products. These are some of our products, but you won't see Skol, Rich Gold, and you won't see Rum Pontalba. You'll see rum. Cane Run, that's a very big brand that they push, Cane Run. Another one they push is this rum. It's a series. They let us try it, the Trinidadian, but it's expensive, about more expensive than these, about $26 a bottle. But they have the Trinidadian, the Barbadosian, and then there's another one. It's from the same company. It's from the same Sazerac company, but it's a series, and each rum is featured from a different island country. So I thought that was it's kind of cool. And the rum room is where they have their laboratory. So sometimes when you go in there, you'll see that they've been tasting and testing different alcohol. You might see them sitting in there not drinking it, you know what I'm saying, testing it. And you'll see all the different off brands on the shelf that they're like Ancient Age. They showed them, they were trying that. So they're not ashamed of these brands. They just push the bigger ones. It makes sense, right? They're going to push Buffalo Trace and have that all around over there. They're not going to push Ancient Age. They're going to push Sazerac Rye, which is what they're distilling over there at that small distillery. Okay, so these things make sense. I do wish they would have a complete portfolio, though, on their website, which has been basically defunct for a year, which gives you no kind of good information. But they don't, so Oh, well. The aroma here is very vacant. And what I mean is there isn't much of any faint oak barrel wood and molasses, but it's so faint. I think I know what it is, but let's go over here. Oh, and the price for both of these, $6.99, $6.99. The Skol Rich Gold was $6.99 at international market. They had an island, you know, they make these islands, pallets. They had it stacked up with bottles and bottles of it. And I bought a bottle. Next time I went back, it was gone. I'm sure it sold out in about 3 days. People know about international markets. So when they push something like that, if you don't get over there and buy it, it's gone. It's not going to be there. All right. When they had the, not Rich and Rare, the Canadian Limited for $10.99, a handle bottle, $10.99. I mean, forget it. People just wipe, you know, they just blew through that. Now they went back to the regular price, $13.99. So it goes, you know, it sells, but it's not going to be a blowout sale. But when they do a blowout, it's like craziness. A much richer aroma here, but kind of just a standard alcohol booze aroma, but some wood, honestly, and some yeast. I think that's the Pontalba, rum Pontalba, named after the Baroness de Pontalba, Michaela de Almonaster, Baroness de Pontalba, a very famous real estate magnate in Louisiana. She made millions of dollars buying and selling real estate, including having the Pontalba apartments built surrounding Jackson Square in New Orleans. And she had all of her name. She had her name inscribed into the grill work. So if you go there today, you'll see the wrought iron grill work on the balconies, and all of them have BP on it. Not British Petroleum, Baroness Pontalba. She married a man named Baron de Pontalba from France, and they had children, and the descendants all live in France today. But she died in the 1870s, I think. She was born in the 1790s in Spanish Louisiana. She was a Spanish grandee. Remember, Spain used to own Louisiana, so she grew up. Okay, so Pontalba is a common name in Louisiana, and so is Almonaster. There's Almonaster Boulevard in New Orleans, named after her. And they still have some Almonasters today. And other Spanish people. They have a lot of Spaniards that moved to Louisiana from Spain and the Canary Islands. They call them Isleños. They live out in St. Bernard Parish, Isleños. But you got names like Nunez with Nunez, you know, Nunez, Galvez, Guidros, Gonzalez. Another popular is Campo. Campo, you hear that name. And Perez often. These are all of those people are immigrant. They were immigrants and Creoles, meaning Caucasian. They're not mestizos. Okay, just letting you know that. Okay, taste time. An immigrant would be a white person that came from Europe. A Creole is one born in America. So like Virginia Dare, the first English Creole, but of course the English don't use a type of Latino words, Creole, but Virginia Dare, you know, the first English person born in the New World, Virginia Dare. And you had the Dutch, the French, the English, Swedes, French, Spanish, and so on. You say, what about Austrians? Well, no, the Austrian Empire did not establish colonies in the New World or anywhere else due to being kind of almost landlocked in Europe. And so focusing on land territories, not overseas territories. If you look at all the colonial countries, they were countries on the coast, the English, you know, the European coastline, the Atlantic coast. So they went out. The ones on the Mediterranean, they didn't, because that's not their area. This is a little more difficult than I had thought. I thought this was going to be a slam dunk, like, you know, Zion Williamson just slamming the ball down into the net against Memphis. But no, I don't think about this. Stop worrying about history. Think about the rum. Although Patrick Tucker was saying he's tired of hearing about mixed drinks, not mixed drinks, hard liquor. He wants to hear about history and politics. And I said, well, I'm sorry, but we do a lot of liquor, you know, on the channel. But some people don't have any interest in that. I understand. It's pretty sugary. Pretty sugary, pretty sugary. Pretty sneaky, sis. Okay. This one is a lot drier. That one's sweet, this one's dry, and this one's very woody, and you pick up more charcoal. And if you drink the Skol white, it's called Skol Dry White. So that's the feature of Skol. It's very dry. Like beer you want to drink, Bud Dry. Well, you can't get that anymore. That was so dry. And now they got the Brute IPAs. They're super dry IPAs. And I'm like, well, that's not really new. It's an India Pale Ale that's Brute, but they had the pale lager, the dry lagers back in the early 90s, late 80s even. But what goes around comes around, right? You know, it just, what was old is new again. Like the Brute champagne is what they're basing on, a very dry champagne. Okay, I think that this is the Ron Pontalba, and I think this is the Skol. But I'm not sure, but I think so. Now let's see which one tastes better. There's your key. There's your key. There's your key term. Oh, and by the way, we'll be back to Scotch tomorrow. Sugary, not as boozy as I had said before. Maybe I'm getting used to it. Yeah, it kind of has some nice little qualities. Is it extraordinary? Is it up to the Bacardi Gold level? No. It's a sorry competitor to Bacardi Gold. Now, if you drink this on its own merits and it's $6.99 a liter and you're happy with it, perfect. Be a perfect companion if you're a rum person and you're not picky. But now when you start comparing it, it can't make it. It can't compete against Castillo Gold, and that's a Bacardi budget brand. It's a tragedy compared to the Bacardi Gold. Okay, so when you start going there, it can't make it. But if you drink it on its own merits, it's fine, all right? But don't start doing taste challenges against something like Bacardi Gold. It just collapses. Skol, in some ways, Skol could compete with Bacardi because it's a different type thing. You know, the Bacardi is so rich and woody and charcoal and just such a rich flavor. With the Skol is so, like I say, demure. It's its own thing. Like you might not like the richness. You might want that super dry. I don't know why they call it rich gold. It doesn't taste. They ought to call it dry gold. I don't know. You say, no, it's fool's gold. That's what it is. It's $6.99 and everybody knows Skol is bad. Well, you think Skol's bad. I don't think it's bad, okay? If I thought it was bad, I'd be the first to say it. I don't defend brands. I'll just tell you what I think about. Yeah, so woody. Oh, the charcoal, the wood, the charcoal, the wood, the wood, the charcoal, the wood. That's got to be Skol, and I'm calling it Skol. I don't have to look at the label because I can see how light it is. The labels were redundant on these glasses because you could never confuse the two. Yeah, there's Skol. It is unique. Now look at that. It looks like champagne, don't it? Doesn't it look like champagne? So don't let people influence you in a negative way. If you say, I was thinking about buying Skol. Now, I don't know if I go along with the rich gold. I think it's dry gold, but like I said, the cap should be gold. Okay, it should be all gold. You're not going to see a black cap on it. That was because of an accident. It's going to be a prettier bottle because it's going to be all gold. But don't let somebody influence you. If you see it, buy it. I think you're going to like it. $6.99 a liter. Oh, man, what a value. What a tremendous value. And on its own, it's a good product. It is about a 93 out of 100. It's an A. It's into the A area. It's not just an A minus. It has some character. I mean, real character. And I like it. I like dry products. Some people can't stand them. You know, my father said, oh, I hate dry stuff. I said, well, okay. It's a moot point anyway. He doesn't drink alcohol anymore. So, but he's saying if he did, it would have to be like a sweet wine. He couldn't stand dry wine. But he's very stringent in his tasting and appreciate, you know, like he won't budge at all. Like he won't say like he kind of likes something. He'll either love it or he'll hate it. No middle ground. This product is okay. And it's probably a little better than okay. So let's say, and this was my initial score, and I'm sticking to that, is a B minus. So around an 80. Could maybe go to 81, but I say 80. Would I buy it again? I wouldn't buy either one again because I'm always doing the long march through the brands. But in theory, I would probably not buy it again because there's so many other things I'd want to try. And there's other things that are the same price that are better, like for instance, Skol. So I would not buy it again because you say, well, B minus is not bad. I know that means marginally good. But why would I pay $6.99 for a B minus when I could pay $6.99 for an A? Answer, I wouldn't. And why would you? If you want to check it out and try it, yeah, it has enough little qualities that would be worth buying. If it was a C plus, I'd say, well, why would you even waste money buying a C plus? That's nothing. That's like average. But you might say, I'm a completer. I got to try everything. Okay, well then, yeah, okay, I get that because I do it. What can I say? I do the same thing. But the Skol Rich Gold is just a pleasure. Every sip is a pleasurable experience. So it's just nice. It's just a nice product. Now, people might roll their eyes if they come to your house and you say, oh, yeah, I got Skol. Oh, you got cheap stuff. You say, you ever tried it? Oh, well, no, I never tried it, actually. I'd like to try some of your Bacardi Reserva Diaz. And you say, yeah, but that's $40 a bottle. But since you didn't bring anything, you could try the Skol, and since it's free, you shouldn't have a problem with it. You know how that goes. Like there's a guy I work with, and he says, if I had the Johnny Walker Blue Label, I wouldn't let any of those people come to my house drink it because that's what they would try to do, want to drink my Blue Label. I'll say, no, y'all drinking this $7 scotch. I'm not coming over here and drinking my stuff. He said, because that's what they'll do. He said, I'll let them have the cheap stuff. Oh, well, that brings us to the end of another taste challenge, Dawn Busters, and we'll be back tomorrow, God willing, with scotch and some dynamite scotch brands. I mean, it's going to be a fabulous video. So get ready, folks. Y'all take care now.